In this video, we will take a look at how each core requirement maps with actual data management plan. This is the section translating the core requirements into a DMP template in the practical guide by Science Europe. The template has 15 questions in total to cover the 6 core requirements. They use detailed explanations to let users know what kind of information you can include to cover the 6 core requirements. To make this less ambiguous, we will use 2 actual data management plans to demonstrate what kind of information you can put in your DMP. The first DMP example is called Digitization TCM Collaborative Research. It is in biological science, and this DMP was found on DMPTool website under public plans. This link will be included in our slide, and we will share the slide later in the future. For the other DMP we're using is called Teaching Quantitative Data in the Social Sciences at the University of New Hampshire. This one was found on this DMP Competition Winners announcement. And this is from a qualitative data management plan competition. So if you collect qualitative data, this list may be useful for you. Back to the template. Before getting into the actual core requirements, they have a section for general information, that's administrative information. And in digitization TCM, they mention about creator, principal investigator, data manager, funder, and note here that they put start date, end date, and last modified date in this document, indicating that this document is subject to change and there may be other versions of DMP. For teaching quantitative data in social sciences, they have information in the first 2 paragraphs in their DMP, and also in their institutional repository, they have abstract about their DMP. Now let's get into the first core requirement, which is data description and collection or reuse of existing data. In digitization DCN, they are digitizing herbarium data from tropical Africa. So here they are creating 4 types of data, including programming code. They also mention how they are creating these data. For teaching quantitative data, they talked about interviewing up to 15 participants, and they mentioned the file types, file formats, and then all the project material will amount to this size. So these are all examples about information you can use to fill the first core requirement. On a related note, if you are reusing data from other sources, this is where you can talk about how the data provenance will be documented as well. The second core requirement is documentation and data quality. In digitization TCN, it is in biological science, and they mention many standards widely used in their field, like Darwin Core and IDIC-Bio guidelines for their images. And for their programming code, they will document within the code and outside of the code. For teaching quantitative data, they will record metadata in a spreadsheet and also document methodology and then qualitative coding approach, etc. For this requirement, it is helpful to talk about how you perform quality control, how you ensure your data is good and consistent, and then what methods are you using to achieve these. And the third core requirement is storage and backup during the research process. In digitization TCN, they mentioned using version control code repositories, and then specimens are being stored and managed at the institution where they are deposited, and then they consider if a service backup are good in case of disaster, and then identity management is also considered in their data management plan. For teaching quantitative data, they are using university-approved, password-protected cloud storage for their human subject research, and only 3 research team members will have access to all the project materials. So for your DMP, you would want to think about data backup and also sensitive data security and protection. For the fourth requirement, legal and ethical requirements, codes of conduct. This is slightly connected to the previous one because storage is one place where researchers have to put legal and ethical requirements into practice. So you can consider these two together. In biological science, sometimes they have sensitive data. So they mention here data of sensitive nature will be withheld or generalized, and they may use Darwin core fields like information withheld and then data generalizations for release of sensitive data. In teaching quantitative data, they talked about the process, how they ensure personal identifiable information is safe with them, like they will de-identify metadata and data, and then these data won't be made publicly available. Again, the third and fourth core requirements are kind of related, so some information may fit in for both. The fifth core requirement is data sharing and long-term preservation. In digitization TCN, they mention using data aggregators like iDigBio and GBeef to share data, and then georeference location will be incorporated into the biodiversity enhanced location services. And they all adhere to the idea of open access, so aim to publish in access-friendly journals. For teaching quantitative data, they mentioned that the codebook, interview protocol, associated documentation for the data and analysis necessary to replicate the study will be included in the final local report and published in their institutional repository. The team members and future collaborators may reuse the de-identified interview transcripts, and also de-identified data, metadata, and records will be retained for 3 years and reappraised in the future. So in this section, things to consider include what data to preserve for the long term, why, and then what platform can enhance your data's discoverability. Is there any data embargo reasons, and if there's any retention period for your data. The last requirement is the data management responsibilities and resources. Here you want to document personnel involved in your research project and who is responsible for what. And other than division of labor, You can also document things like staff time, cost, and then list required resources in this section. Research team members may change during the period, so remember that you can always update your DMP. So these are the 6 core requirements of data management plans. I hope this video is helpful for you.